Hi, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, whatever your time zone. Welcome to Tech Talk Live. My name is Kristen Gastaldo. I am the Customer Community Lead for IFS. I'm part of the Global Customer Success team. I manage our community.ifs site. I hope I've seen many of you on the site. This presentation will actually be posted on the community afterwards. So if you miss anything, if you have a question, need to rewatch something, you can go and watch it on the community probably on Monday. For anyone who hasn't attended one of these sessions before, this Tech Talk Live is part of what we're calling our success sections. We've done a few of these called Lunch and Learns, which are shorter sessions. They're 30 minutes, and they're designed to give you quick overviews of maybe new product features or resources, tips and tricks, product functionality. Our session today is actually our first Tech Talk Live. It's more of a technical deep dive and will run for a full hour. There's more demos and just more content to cover. If you have questions, we want you to hold those until the end. You can go ahead and post them as you have them, actually. Post them in the questions section or send me a message on through GoToWebinar, and I will hold them at the end. So today, this session is being led by Chamaka Wimalarathne. He's a lead software engineer for IFS, and he is going to take us through translations and where to find them. So on that note, Chamaka, hand it over to you. Let's get going.
Thank you, Kristen. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Tech Talk Live. And we will be talking about IFS translation and where to find it. So, first of all, we will be focusing on several areas, which I call as the honeycomb of translation. We will be talking about IE clients translations, Aurena translations, and the Aurena translation will be based on the latest version we have, which is 21R1. And next we'll be discussing on basics of finding a report translation. Finally, we'll be discussing on a special combos which will be used as early detection mechanisms when we have a translation issue. So, okay, first I'll give you a simple explanation of how IFS translation gets installed. Basically, IFS translations after application step basically consists of 3 file types, which are LNG, TRS, and INS files. Translation related entries will be inside the files. So 2 of these types can be manually imported using our clients, and all 3 can be basically get installed using IFS deliveries. So after you get them properly imported and installed in the system, you will be able to do those translations. That's the basic outlook of a translation. But if we go deep dive in, go in for a deeper scope about these 2 processes, what happens is when these 2 processes happens, basically the entries will be deployed into the database, and if there are IFS IE client related translations, DLS will be generated accordingly. And 3 of these most of the caches are getting refreshed. Basically, these are the most important ones: the language, reference, and report cache. This will be refreshed, and these will result on the translation. So this is the basic process of getting a translation. Okay, let's move on to IFS IE translations then. We will not be discussing a lot about IE translations with the given time, but still we will be discussing the most important aspects of IE translation. And as a learning guide, I have divided into 2 parts, which is window translations and message translations. So let's check out the windows first. The example that I will be using to explain window translations in IE client is related to time card. So basically, let's see how it works. First, you need to navigate to the window, which is time card. Then you will be need to open the system information tab. System information tab consists of 2 different important information aspects, which are data source and its component. After gathering those information, you need to log into the text translation window. Clear the out. Create the path using the data source, the module, and you need to put the language code as well. Okay. Okay. The language code should always be in lower. Even the match case is not. Count the hits, get the records. Perfect. So in this format, you will be able to get every translation related to that window, which has been translated. You can get the path information, the status, the module, the translation prop text, or the subtypes, and every information that is related to translation. So this is the basic way of getting to know what translations are available for a certain window in IE client. Okay. Let's take a microscopical outlook into this. Let's take 4 examples. First of all, I explain the examples. This is the text box and text box related label, tick box related label, tab and its label, and the column header. These are the 4 aspects that I'm going to talk about when it comes to window translation. So let's take one. So in order to get a text box related translation, first you need to select the text box, go to system information, you need to get the data source, you need to get the component, and in the system tab you will be able to get the ID of the text box. And you have to create the path accordingly using the object as in the data source and the system's label. Okay, and put the module here. The language code, better if you can put the translation prop text as well, because you can see the word and you will be able to get the translation. Okay, let's take next the column header. This is more of a different approach comparatively to the other ones. You need to select, if you are going for a table column header, you need to select anywhere in the table some information. Here you will be not able to get the system data. You have to query with the given information. So you have to take the data source, the component, and the prop text. By that, you will be able to get the full qualified path, module, and other translation information by using translation window. Okay, let's go back to tick boxes. So in order to get tick box related translations, you need to select the tick box. You need to get the data source, the ID or the label's ID, component, and again get the jumbled up, mixed up, get the translation. Basically simple as that. And if we go for a tab related translation, same as the table related translation, you will be not getting any system information. You have to get the data source, component, and language and the prop text from here. Then you will be able to get the translations accordingly. I hope you got an idea about how to get a window related translations in simple terms. Now let's move on getting Windows messages related translation, iCloud. Finding a message path in IE client is more of a technical approach rather than function approach. So you will be needing to visit the specific business. And in this example, I will be focusing on getting a path of an error message. So the window, the data, and you need to get the debug console. Already opened it, I'm going to open it again. Okay. Change it to application. I always put it on top because it's easier to view. Populate the window, approve, run message, see the thing, then I'll get the error message. So I need to get the translation related to this given error message. So next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the first and go to PLSQL trace. In the meantime, I will be opening the PLSQL developer, get the database code. You can use your client SQL developer or the client that you use usually. Then finally, I get this line, which is the error trace. It's usually at the end of an error message. You can get the error trace, copy it, and paste it into Notepad. The Notepad here, perfect. Okay, there's a small trick in finding it quickly. You should always go for the one just before the error set. That's the trick that I use. So you will get the error text. You need to select the line just before the error set. In this error trace, you will be able to get the API details and the line number. Get the one just before error says. Open that API inside your PLSQL. Just press Ctrl G, get the line going. Okay, the attribute line, copy it, Ctrl G, paste the line number. Then in here you will get the attributes related to message translation. So the attributes that is needed to get the perfect path, which says no ACC to M mode. This is the word that we need to get the path. And you will also see the error message here. So copy the path. So it's just a part of the path. You can get the full qualified path after query, copy, go for text translation window. Time to do the thing. Okay, text translation window. Get the search box, the path. I always use the wildcard because I don't have the full qualified path. If I have the full qualified path, I don't have the need to get the translation entry. So in order to get the translation entry, I will be using small snippets. An example for that. Use the wildcards, language code, and search. By that way, you can get the translation prop text, path, and the other information related to that message. That is how you find a error message related translation. Okay. Next up is the most requested Aurena translation. I have divided into several parts, which I called as the wheel of Aurena. So before we start our journey on Aurena translation path finding, let's go through important aspects that we need to remember when it comes to Aurena. So I have created some. So these are the crumbs to remember when you find an Aurena path. First of all, you will be needing the client name, the URL, the page name, also in the URL. You need to know how to open the page designer and the debug console. Inside the page designer, you should be able to know how to read the group names and attribute names. Attributes can be command boxes, text boxes, labels, drop downs, selectors, and the debug console, you will be able to find out projection details, entity set details, entity components, and such. Perfect. Let's go back. Okay. Let's start by finding path of an element. Elements are basically labels in a window. Normal, overtime, time are some examples in this window. So yeah, basic. First of all, open the page designer. You have missed it, I'll again. Go to page designer and get the information first. Then you need to focus on active page. By then, you have to decide what is the entry that you need to get trans. You need to find the translation of. So I will be focusing on normal, which is under our summary. Our summary is the group and normal is the label. So I'll select I'll select the group our summary related information by clicking on the our summary. I go for its content, get normal, and I would be able to get the attribute name here, the group name here. So rather than spending time on finding the full qualified path, I have created some snippets to stuff. When it comes to label related translation, the snippet is you need to find the client name, the group name, and the element name, and several wildcards. Let's find the client name, which is in the URL, timecard manager, copy. Then you need to find the group name of our summary. The group name, the label name is our summary, the group name is our summary group, percentage, then the element name, which is under the element. Copy it, paste it, the wildcard. Here you can get parts of the path that will be okay and necessary to get the copy, the language, get the path there. We'll get the translation ready information, same as IE client. We get the translation proc text, the path. So these aspects can be used in order to find whether the translations are available. If the translations are not available, you can send this to IFS and get the translations done. And another thing, when it comes to elements, or page elements, labels, and such, there's another shortcut. You can open the debug console. That goes to page information, and inside the page information, you can find the translation paths directly. But since it's text form and the label name, in my opinion, it's a bit time consuming comparatively to taking from text translation. It's up to you to use this or either this. And this is only for the elements. So as you can see, hourly summary structure, normal hours, and here directly you can see translation path. This is the other way of finding the translation path of an element. Okay, go back. Next up, let's talk about group boxes. In the previous one, we selected normal. Normal was inside the group box, our summary. First of all, open the page designer, and we are going to get the our summary translation. Page designer, content. Inside the content, we are going to select our summary. There you can get the copy. And when it comes to group boxes, the things you need are the client name, the group name, the special wording, dollar, the client name, the group name, then dollar, the word. Perfect. Put a wildcard that it's not needed because you can copy the whole thing. Go to text translation, put into the path. Perfectly, you can get of the group. Same as before, you can give the translation and so on. This is how you find qualified path and the other information of a group box. Okay, let's move on. Next up, we have command groups and page titles. Command groups are basically the RMB options which were in IE client. Aurena client does not have RMB options, have used group boxes, and they are visible as buttons. Okay, here I will be focusing on the let's get the page design first. Every time get the page designer. For the group command groups and page titles, path immediate, client name, and the page name. Even that you don't need but even the page design, you can get it from the URL as well. Put it there, and the page name is just after the client name. It's same as the name inside here. Okay, and put a percentage. Search it. Translation. You'll be able to get every information about page title and all the group boxes available. By that, you can select the group box that you need and get the specific information. And you can also get the full qualified path of group boxes. This represents the header, page title. The other ones which are having group box name and title, yeah, as I said, status here, detail is there. This is the full qualified path of a single group box. Command group. And by using this information, you can get the translation related for the command group. Okay. If you remember, when it comes to IE client, there were sub parts for RMB options as well. So let's focus on group box content, the contents which are inside the group box, the translations related. These are basically, as I said before, subcategories of the RMB options of the IE client. To access those content, you need to click on the group. First of all, get the debugger, the page designer. Box here, you can see confirm, remove, confirmation, authorize, and remove authorization. These are the words that we are going to focus on. Select the group box, go for status, content, and click on which we need. Confirm. Click on confirm or confirm is okay. Then you will get this information. So command, these are the things that we need. This is a bit of a twist when it comes to translations because we need to do some extra steps to get group box content. As you can see, you will be needing the client name and a special thing, suffix of the page name in the element. I'll explain you what is a suffix in the page element. First, you can get the client name, which is easier, time card manager. So there's the element name, as you can see, is the element name, copy the whole. Okay, element name, edit, copy the whole thing. Take the things, as you can see, suffix after the page name. So the page name is this one. So the suffix after the page name is md confirm week. So you need to select the wording just after the underscore, or delete the whole thing before the underscore and the underscore. And this is the path to find box command group content. Go to text translations, paste it, search it, get the path. And as a bonus, as you can see, not only group boxes are visible here, there are several messages as well. These message related translations are about the actions of the group box. For an example, the message that pops up when the group box command is executed perfectly, or it runs to an error. All those messages are inside. You can find those messages by this. But if you want just to get the group box name, group box contents name, you have to put $this at the end of the path. Search, then you will get the group box content. So as you can see, it's really easy to find messages which are related to options in Aurena, because it's just a matter of a wildcard. If you remove this and put a wildcard, you'll be able to find every message related to that option. Most of the messages, I haven't seen any other, but still. The only difference is you can, get them separated from the command by the subtype. The subtype will be message, and is how you find the messages related to that group box content. Okay, talk about group box content message. Let's take a look of every message related to Aurena client. How to find their translation path. In Aurena client, it's easier than IE client when it comes to finding a message related to an error. You don't need a technical person to find these messages. If in the initial process, you just need to get the designer, and plus you can find the error message without even recreating it. If you have the text or a screenshot of the error message, you can find it easily without trying to recreate the error message. I know when it comes to recreating error messages, you need to set up data, you need to get user logins and so and so. And most of the time, the IFS app login does not have the eligibility of getting that error message. So when it comes to Aurena, it's just a matter of clicks to find an error message or a message or anything, any message related. So to get a message, still you need several aspects. You need the client name as the path, subtype, and a small significant part of the message in order to differ the message from the others. So first get the client name, client card manager. Go to transition window, put it to the path, pages. You can get the module if you want to make things more faster. Search, you can put it on the component. Not mandatory, but it you get the path. Then you need to get the subtype as message. So go to more, three dots, sorry, more, select message, mail, message, mail type, sorry, subtype. At the end, put the type as message. get all the messages related to the Aurena client. But still, if you want to get the specific message, you can find it by scrolling down. But if you want to get the specific message directly, it's a small part of it. Go to translation from text. You can go to translation from text and put that message, and you can get the exact message from here. And here are the qualified path of every message which is related to the Aurena client. So you don't have to recreate the error. You just can use this one and find it, or the message, or the information message, or any message that has. Okay. As I said before, you can put a small part of the message to filter up more. I'm not going to do it because I didn't recreate anything, and I don't have an example. The part here, you can get. Okay. Now, if the messages are all over. Next up, let's talk about dialog boxes. When it comes to Aurena, the dialog boxes are not pop-up dialog boxes. Those boxes will be coming from the right end of the video. And translation handling of dialog boxes have two different ways when it comes to Aurena. Okay, as you can see, the dialog box we'll be focusing on is report time. Dialog box. You can see there's a dialog box header, and there are some elements inside the dialog box. So for the dialog box header, let's first take the dialog box headers translation. You need to go to Page Designer. Go to all pages, not here, not active page, all pages, not all elements, all pages. Dialog. Get the dialog box name. You can find the name. You can by reading the label. Label is the same. So report time dialog. You need the client name and the dialog box name. Copy the path. Go to text translation window. Paste the path. Search. Here you will be able to get the dialog box name by referring to this. And if there are any messages related to that dialog box, it will be displayed here as well. So it's another bonus. You can get the dialog box title header, and the messages will be popping up related to the dialog box as well. Next up, let's take the elements of the dialog box. As you can see, there are groups, there are switches which have labels. We will be focusing on these ones now. Okay, let's take attendance one. So here you need to go to all elements, groups, find the group which is related to that, the group which was inside the dialog box, which is attendance. We are going to find as you can see from the label name, it matches box name. You can get it from there. Copy the name, not the label, the name, paste it. Copy the path and search it there. In order to concat the search or make it more on point of the element that you need, you can use the element name as well, as we did when we were working on element. You can get the element name and you can distinguish it by element as well. But still, this way you will be able to see all the elements which are related to that group, which was inside the dialog box. As you can see, let's check the another one, job result. The name is harder. Search job type. So let's say the label is job result. Okay, same. Copy the name. Same part. Thing. You will be able to get translation related to the element of that dialog box inside job type. Okay. I hope you have an idea about finding translations now. Okay, let's go back. As you can see, there are easier ways of finding paths of Aurena. We don't need to find the exact path or the exact food qualified path at the beginning to find Aurena paths. And you might be wondering, I have given you several videos and it's harder to memorize. So let's see something. Here's a short look. By using this, you will be able to get the information of paths and all the 20-minute videos information in a single window. Don't need to take screenshots because I'm going to send these ones after the presentation. So you can use this as a guideline when it comes to finding paths in certain aspects of Aurena. Okay, next up, since we have finished off Aurena, let's go up for report translation. First of all, I will be not going much into report translations because with the limited time that we have, and I will be focusing on IE related report translations. And let's start. So when you want to get a report translation in IE client, you need to get the debug console. Place it left side, always on top. Get the report going. Get the report and go to this call, report layout definition API, enumerate layout. That you will be able to get the report ID. A report ID can be used, can view the value, copy it. Report ID can be used to find the translation related to the report. Close it. Go to text translation window. Clear it out. The report ID inside the path and the language. You'll be able to find every translatable constant that has been translated or not. I just told you a special word, that's translatable word. That means in IFS client, in order to get a word translated, the word should be translatable. If the word is not translatable, there will be no entries inside this window. This window only represents words which are translatable. So you are trying to find a translation and it is not visible inside the text translation window, most probably the word has not been translated. So you need to inform IFS and do a technical investigation and find out whether it's translated or not. Accordingly, you will get. Here you can see all the translations related to the report, and in order to report to be printed in a certain language, there should be translations available. The minimum amount of translation that requires at least the report header should be translated. That's the minimum. If even if the translations are missing, the language will be not available in the report dialog box. Okay. So you can find the qualified part and the other information as well. Okay, now we have done basic process, i.e. translations, Aurena translations, and report translations. Let's get back to this on scenario. Okay, this is the most important message that you need when it comes to translations. Anyway, if you are not translatable, you will not get translated. That is the motto in translation. These are the mechanisms, or as I call, the early detection mechanisms of translation. So let's start from two things that are needed, which are caches and availability. In order to translation to work, caches and the language should be available. From client to client, how to refresh caches and how to find the available languages. Take Aurena first. If you type language and there, okay, let's start. First of all, let's go for caches, normal caches. You need to type refresh. The cache, here you can get the caches, and most important ones in translations are, if you are having a report, security, reference, and object connections. Object connections are needed if you are doing object translations. Reference, security are basics, and you need to select these ones and click on refresh translation, refresh cache to get the cache refreshed. Now let's find out how IE client translation works. Sorry, IE client's cache refreshes works. Cache refresh, same window. You will get the same structure. The important thing is, other than that, you will be able to refresh two other caches, which are component and language. This is the language cache page, which is also the language cache page. Inside IE client is the same page as the other caches. You need to click on language cache page. You will go to use languages page. You can RMB, let refresh language cache. This is important when it comes to translation refreshers. Now you might be, and you can refresh language cache either by the language or by the component, either way. And you might be wondering, where is the cache refresh, the language cache refresh inside Aurena? Let's check that out. As I said, the language cache refresh is inside use language page. The problem in Aurena is it's not really, it has not been connected here. So you have to go through the navigator, languages, use languages, go to the window, and you will get the used languages. Okay, I'll explain. There's two things that we need to discuss about this. First of all, as the IE client, if you want to refresh, you can click on these three dots and get language cache refresh and refresh it. But the most important aspect in this window is if and only if the language is open for translation and the translations are installed, you will be able to use that language inside your application. If it's no, you will be not able to use that language. So the use language window is basically created to find what are the languages that we are eligible to and what are the languages that can be translated. And you can refresh the language cache from here as well. So as you can see, there are lots of languages here. Thai language not open, but other languages are open. Estonian not open for translations. Romanian is not open for translation for this environment. Okay, let's get back and talk about IE, how to find these languages in IE. As you can see, we can go from the cache page as well, but also we can go for use languages, search the language here, open for translation here, same way, same structure, same table, in a different language. That's all. Languages in the computer language. Refresh that here, everything is perfectly. So I will be not explaining about much about this because I have explained in the Aurena client. Let's get back. And I'll be talking about a bonus aspect, which are help text in IE client. So in IE client, you can find help text, which is under the help here. These are not inside, available inside basically in text translation. If you want to find the translations of these, the help text, you need to go for a specific window. Copy. So you need to copy the data source, keep it up there. You need to go to the you need to control as well. Employee number, we need the employee number related one. So get the label, employee numbers one, copy it. You need to go to the window. And translation. This is the window that has the help text. Here you can put the path, the component, and the language. So the path is window, copy the data source, window, path. Okay, go to the window, get the label ID, again go to that window, the path, and a wildcard. Okay, now let's search count hits. Okay. And here you can find the translations related to the text. Okay, back. As I said before, I was targeting talk about scenarios related to translations here. I have given you the tools. Now you have to join them together. For an example, as I said before, there are instances where dialog boxes are not visible and not giving the perfect translation. In that situation, you need to check whether the language is available and you need to check whether the path is available as well. Okay, let's do something orthodox. The presentation is boring in this situation. The best place to find it is the IFS community. You just need to go to community, search the word, adding a new report, language, and search it on the community. And you can get, if there are articles, you can get articles related to the translation issues. See here, someone also has that problem. They want to get another language inside this window. So they have posted the question here. And by referring this, as you can see, there are also software engineers, partners, and customers which have been answering questions and their opinions about it. And here Janadi has answered one. She has explained that use the use language window and find whether the language is activated or not. Okay, that, as I explained, that is just a part of the answer, because just having the language activated does not make the translation available. So next up, so I commented the missing part. Use language tab can be used to activate a language or make a language translatable. But if a report related translation, at least the report, if at least the report name is not available, you will be not able to get the language to the drop down. So in order to get the drop down, you need to activate the use language, and you need to get this one as well. And afterwards, it has found an article, because someone else has also asked the question, has given an answer. And if you want to refer that article, you have to click here. And in this article, Hanuka has asked the same question. He wants to get the Romanian language inside this print in dialog. And Janita has given a full answer with both of our aspects. You need to get the translation, and you need to access the use language as well. So this is a full length answer for another question, which was referred as an answer for the question given by us. So as you can see, if you have any questions related to translations or any aspect, you can post it on our community, and you can get the expertise of IFSs, partners, and every community member, and get into a better answer, to a full qualified answer, and get other viewpoints and aspects as well. So this is a benefit of using a IFS community when it comes to answering questions. Okay, let's check another question. Let's see, I want to see latest IFS cloud translations. And what are the updates? So the IFS has created this one and given all the new features related to 21R1 translations. So these kind of information which are valuable can be accessible through our community page. So if you have not joined IFS community, please join it. You can find lots of answers for lots of questions you have before reaching a tech talk or a session. Okay, guys. So that's it for me. Let's take any questions. If you have any questions, let's take the questions.
Thank you, Chamaka. That was very thorough. So we actually don't have any questions that are specific to a technical question for what was happening in the presentation. I did have several people ask, how can I get this content after the event? So this session is recorded, and we will be sharing it on the community. Again, I can have it up by Monday. Chamaka, we can also get these slides from you, correct? And I can put those in the community as well. It's a pretty large file because of the amount of video content in the demos. So we might have to get creative on how to get this in the community for you. But yes, we will also share the slides and the recording. If anybody has any questions, we still have a little bit of time, just another few minutes. There's not anything in the chat. So thank you all for attending. I know that was a lot of content and a very good deep dive. Thank you, Chamaka. That was awesome. Um, for those of you who are interested to come to our next session, we have another one on September 3rd, and that is on Aurena page configurations with some folks from our global support team. You can register for that in the community. It's listed under the events at the top. And again, like Chamaka said, there's lots of content in the community for everyone. If you have questions about what you saw today, please post there and we'll keep an eye out for it. If not, thank you all for coming. We'll give you just a couple minutes back to your day, and I hope that we see you, at the next event. Again, thank you, Chamaka. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.